Hey everyone, welcome to Jesus Is. My name is Josh. I'm very blessed and honored to be bringing you another episode about having mercy and long suffering towards others. We see how God is long suffering towards us. We don't generally focus on His plan, but we focus on our own. I talk about how God is long suffering towards us and what He does towards us, He expects us to do towards others. Jesus is our example, and we are supposed to follow His lead. So I hope you enjoy the message and see what the Spirit is saying to you. All right, I'm going to talk about long suffering towards others. Long suffering towards others, or patience towards others. I know lately I've been having a hard time with patience towards others and long suffering.
On the drive down here.
On the drive down here. Well, long suffering. We know one day in the Bible, right, Jesus said he's coming back, right? They watched him leave. The angels talked to the disciples and say, why are you staring at him? And then they said he's going to return the way he left. Whether it's in your lifetime, my lifetime, no one knows when he's coming back, right? He said not even him, he knew at the time, knew when he was coming back. We're going to start in Matthew 9, 10. We're going to read 9, 10 through 13. So Jesus is coming back, but he was... Do you think God's long suffering towards us right now?
Yes.
As we speak? I mean, he created us. He's done everything we could possibly, he's done a lot for us. He's given us his son. And as Jesus reclined at the table in the house, so he's at Matthew's house, the tax collector. Behold, many tax collectors and sinners came and were reclining with Jesus and his disciples. And when the Pharisees saw this, they said to his disciples, why does your teacher eat with tax collectors and sinners? But when he heard it, he said, those who are well have no need of a physician. But those who are sick, go and learn what this means. I desire mercy and not sacrifice. And then he says, for I came not to call the righteous, but sinners. So he's going after the sinners, the people that are looked down upon. But he says, go and learn what this means. I desire mercy and not sacrifice. So when you're patient towards somebody, you're giving them mercy, right? If somebody did you wrong, what are examples of being patient with somebody?
A little kid and their parent.
A little kid and their parent?
Driving behind someone slow.
Driving behind somebody slow?
Waiting for people. It wasn't someone driving slow.
What if somebody lied to you?
Beat them up.
And they lied to you more than once. But they don't mean to. Does that make any sense?
It's like a white lie.
Yeah. Are you patient with them? Supposed to be. So mercy and patience goes hand in hand, right? Patience, long-suffering is the fruit of the Spirit. You have to choose to be long-suffering. You have to choose that part of the Spirit. I desire mercy instead of sacrifice is actually in Hosea 6:6. So let's go there really, really quick. Hosea is in the Old Testament. It's after Daniel. Hosea 6:6. This is where Jesus got this from. For I desire steadfast love and not sacrifice. The knowledge of God rather. So he desires steadfast love and not sacrifice. And he also desires the knowledge of God rather than burnt offerings. God's main point is he wants mercy. He gave us mercy. He wants you to give out mercy. He wants you to give out patience, steadfast love towards people. So mercy and knowledge of God are important to God. Mercy towards who? Like I said, others, right? Towards your parents, towards your dad. You need to be merciful. Towards somebody, you ever been rubbed the wrong way, quote unquote, by somebody? Like that guy? Yeah. Teenagers. Sometimes people, you just get in the atmosphere of the same person. You're like, you get disgusted with them. Mercy. Steadfast love. Love the Lord your God and neighbor as yourself. We're going to go to Matthew 22:34. Back to Matthew. Matthew 22, what did I say? 34. Matthew 22:34. But when the Pharisees heard that he had silenced the Sadducees, they gathered together. And one of them, a lawyer, asked him a question to test him. Teacher, which is the greater commandment in the law? And he said to him, you shall love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your mind. So that's everything about you. Love God. This is the great and first commandment. And the second is like it. You shall love your neighbor as yourself. So there you go. He desires mercy instead of sacrifice. Mercy towards others. When you're merciful towards others, you're loving them. That's the greatest commandment. God said, love the Lord your God. Mercy and love go hand in hand. Why would you give mercy to someone you didn't love? Would you give mercy to someone you didn't love? You're supposed to, but not naturally. So somebody you detest, you don't want to do, we're supposed to, but I'm just saying mercy and love go hand in hand. You're not going to give somebody mercy that you don't care for, even though you're supposed to. I'm trying to, out there, when a person that didn't like you is not going to give you mercy. Do you get what I'm saying? Yeah. Out there. Now, in the body of Christ, it's supposed to be opposite. You're supposed to give the people that you don't like, or you're supposed to love everybody, but if somebody rubs you the wrong way, you're supposed to love them anyway. Mercy and love go hand in hand. If you're merciful towards another, you're patient with them. Isn't that right? You're patient with them. God is long-suffering and patient with us. You notice whatever God's actions towards us is, he expects you to do to others. That's what I was going to get to. Whatever God does to you, he expects you to do to other people. He laid his life down for you. Well, he expects you to lay your life down for him. In that, give up your own desires and do what he asks. So, whatever he did for us, he expects you to do for him.
And I can go whip people.
No, he didn't whip people. That scripture is taken out of context. A loving God, did he ever whip anybody in the other parts of the Bible? No. So we can't take one thing out of context and make it everything. He loved everybody. God so loved the world, he gave, right? He gave his only unique son. He expects us to give to others. If he can give you Jesus Christ, you can give to others. Jesus practiced what he preached. And this goes to your question, your statement. Jesus practiced what he preached. Jesus never said something and did the opposite. Did he ever say something of your guys' knowledge in the Bible and did the opposite of what he said? I don't think he ever did. If he did, show me. He showed mercy on everyone he healed. There's people he healed. And what did he tell them after he healed them? Don't sin anymore. Don't sin anymore. He never put sickness on anybody, right? He didn't say, you're going to go blind. And they went blind. Have you ever seen him do that? Everybody came to him and he showed mercy on them. He showed patience with them. His disciples, the 12, he was very patient with them. They even he said, we're going over here. And then they're like, well, we shouldn't go over there. And they kind of told him that they shouldn't go over there. They were telling him what to do, trying to. So obviously they didn't know God's plan like he did. So God sent his unique son to this earth. You notice he didn't send his son right after the fall in the garden, right? He didn't clean up the mess right after the fall. He told Adam and Eve, don't do this, and then they did it because they wanted their own way. Jesus didn't come and save us then, right? God is long-suffering towards us. He let us work it out, I guess, so to speak, but we still fell. He isn't sending his son back here until the fullness of the Gentiles come in. We know that, right? The fullness of the Gentiles, which would be non-Jew people, originally non-Jewish people. How long has that been going on?
A long time.
Thousands and thousands of years. He's long suffering towards the human race, right? Let's go to Romans 11. Let's go down to 25. So God has been long suffering with the human race for a long time. God doesn't make mistakes. No, God doesn't make mistakes. He didn't make you a mistake. Romans 11:25. Lest you be wise in your own sight, I do not want you to be unaware of this mystery, brothers. A partial hardening has come upon Israel until the fullness of the Gentiles has come in. And in this way, all Israel will be saved, as it is written. I'm not going to read that part. I just wanted to show you that, well, I guess let me go down to 27. The deliverer will come from Zion. He will banish ungodliness from Jacob. And this will be my covenant with them when I take away their sins. So merciful. When is this going to come in? When is the fullness of the Gentiles coming in?
Say that question again.
Yeah, I'm asking that question. When is the fullness of the Gentiles coming in? But when is that?
When he decides.
There you go, when he decides. Good question. No one knows. Long suffering is also happening until the fullness is obtained. Oh, there's a little tidbit. I don't know if this is true. So this could be, I don't think it's an opinion, but I learned when Israel was in Egypt, God was long suffering with the Canaanites. Now, how long was Israel in Egypt? 400 plus years. Where did the Israelites go when they got out of Egypt?
Wilderness.
Where the Canaanite people were living. So I heard, and you can take this as whatever you want, that God was long suffering with the Canaanites and trying to get them to turn their ways, and that paused Israel from getting out of slavery. So God was dealing with this group of people, and they became very, very evil and everything. So he decided Israel is coming out and going to wipe you guys out, basically, because you wouldn't do what I said. Now, that's why they were in bondage so long. Now, there's a lot of factors that go in play, because Israel was also not doing what they were supposed to do either. God told Abraham, you're going to be a father of many nations. God said to Abraham, you're going to be a father of many nations, not just Israel. Did anybody get that? It's also happening now. God doesn't make mistakes. To say he does is foolish. You know how many people say God made a mistake? A lot of people. That is the foolish thing, most foolish thing I've ever heard. God made a mistake. Okay, just because you may not agree or see it his way doesn't mean it's on him. Take that pride back, thinking, and toss it out. You're not greater than God. He makes you what you are and what he uses you. Somehow, in our puny little minds, we think we're equal or greater than God. His thoughts are higher than our thoughts, and his ways are higher than our ways. What do you think it makes people? Why do you think people think God makes mistakes? Or they don't know what they're talking about? Yep. The student never becomes greater than the teacher. I always tried to figure that out until I figured out God is the teacher. I always thought it was like a human versus human. I'm like, the student can never be greater than the other human, then that human is limiting that student. Until I figured out this is referring to God. God's the teacher. We all learn everything from him. The apostles learn from God, right? Mm-hmm. Paul, Peter, they all learned from Jesus. Did they ever become greater than Jesus? No. Did they become like Jesus? Yes, to a point. They could never do everything he did, but they became like him on this earth. That's what we're supposed to become. We're supposed to become little Jesuses. We're supposed to become
I
don't think it's that. We're supposed to become his advocate. So when we become like his advocate, we become like him. You can become like the teacher, but you're never greater than the teacher. We're supposed to be like Jesus. We're never greater than him, which I said all that. Why do humans want or even think they know more than Jesus? Pride. Pride. Like I said, every apostle was taught. Everybody was taught something. I was taught. I didn't come up with this stuff on my own. Like me reading the Bible, wanting it, I was taught that. So I'm glad God is so long-suffering towards us. We wouldn't have a chance on this life if he wasn't. Right? As soon as you screwed up and he wasn't patient with you, where would you be? Toast. You would be burnt? You think you'd be burnt?
Toast.
I don't know. You said toast, so I said burnt.
Burnt toast?
Yeah, toast.
So aren't you glad we have a loving God, a creator? Like I created my children not to kill them, right? That's the dumbest thing you probably could ever hear, but I don't create things just to destroy it. Thank you for listening, and I hope the Spirit of God spoke to your heart and you got something out of this. I believe God is long-suffering towards us and that he wants us to be long-suffering towards others. Being long-suffering towards others is also equated to loving others. When you love others, you will be patient with them. I am honored and appreciate your support. Please consider liking this episode. Also, if you have not subscribed to the Jesus Is channel, please consider that. Share with your friends. Spread the word. Thanks, and God bless.